All
Right.
right. So next up, we've got Robert D'Angelo. How you doing, my friend? Yeah, there you go.
Doing good. Thank you. That is absolutely a hard act to follow, Will.
Right.
Incredible, man. Like that was awesome. So
Thank you, Rob.
definitely hard act to follow, and a lot of that definitely some of that definitely hit home. So and some of the stuff I was going to talk about too. So that was great. But yeah, but no, thank you again for having me on. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So with that, just please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you.
Absolutely. So Rob D'Angelo, from Somers, New York, Westchester County. Um, so during the day, my normal job, digital creative director and designer, part of a marketing team. I've been dabbling in photography probably about 13 plus years or so. Primarily, let's step back. Um, I really got into it when my son was born, right? So I was really wanting to get into it. I kind of dabbled it beforehand, but he was born. I wanted to get a camera, really got into it, started doing, some of those shots and just kind of evolved into a lot of landscape stuff as you grow older, as a sports photographer, and just, kind of dabbled and stuff like that. Um,
How
but
how did you
yeah.
how'd you get into light painting? Like how'd that come about?
So again, just through, the creative, right, between being the designer and kind of jumping into photography a little bit. I kind of dabbled in it years ago, right, with, little things like little flashlights. I got into this whole like toy photography kind of thing, right, where I was kind of lighting those up, right, like have like a Marvel character or whatever, and killed the lights, had a little flashlight and kind of messing around with it, but just really dabbled in it. But when it really struck was in 2020 with the pandemic. We're all stuck at home. Again, just trying to think of like creative avenues, and I love to experiment. I love to just push the creativity, and I started messing around with everything from the water drop photography, like everything from indoors, right? And like I wasn't getting out there doing landscape stuff anymore, or even portrait stuff, but I just kind of wanted to jump back into it. I started seeing things again, and I was like, let me take this opportunity, start playing around with it. And um, during COVID, just trying to express some of this stuff, I started doing these messages of light. I was out in the backyard, um, just kind of like thoughts and feelings, kind of going through this, and just trying to write out these messages. And I entered the Messages of Light contest that you guys have had, and I just wrote a simple thank you, right? And had an EKG, and it's just about everything that was kind of going on. And I fell in love with it. It took off from there, and I kept going and trying just different things and experimentations, and um, I just tried to, kept pushing my creativity. And I think what really pushed me was, as much as I love landscape and shooting landscape and just being out there in nature and connecting, something about the light painting, I went back to my roots of drawing and painting, right? Like I could take a photo of a landscape, a sunset, absolutely technical, and you're thinking and stuff like this, but something with having a tool in your hand and that creativity kind of flowing through, and you're literally painting with light. I think that's what really I fell in love with, and I just kept going from there, just
And
exploring from there.
the cool thing for me, about light painting is it's me. It's entirely me. It's there's my image is my image. I'm putting something out into the world that I created that's me.
Correct.
And not one light painting looks the same. Every light painting is unique and expressive in its own creative way. So
Yeah.
you do a great job, and I
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
you being here, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So let me share my screen here. Give me 1 second. All right, yeah. So you recently you did these images here, man, and they're so I love the abstractness, man. I love abstract light painting. So when I saw these images, I knew that I wanted to sit down with you and just have a discussion and talk about these. Um, Before we dive too deep into it, can you tell us what light painting brushes tools you were using?
Absolutely. Actually, before I even get into that, where these kind of stem from, and I could talk a little bit more about it later.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, it really stemmed with Stephen Knight. I'm a huge fan of his work too. He was doing these light tunnels, right? And I thought they were the coolest thing. And again, think about like, again, stuff indoors I can do and kind of experiment with that. And he has a great tutorial on there. And I started doing, just following that and grabbed a, diamond plexiglass and a circle and just started playing with it and trying to get the feeling of it. But again, I got into that, where can I go from here? And thinking about how the process is to get those light tunnels. How could I vary it, right? And how can I make it my own? So that's where I started dabbling into this, where some of they're so clean, right? The diamond plexis, and I grabbed a serpent blade, and getting into this. This is the red serpent plexiglass. Absolutely love this tool. Johnny, I reached out to you earlier. The serpent tools are incredible. And what I
Absolutely.
started doing with this was the same kind of basic principles of creating these light tunnels, but then again, how do I kind of shift and shape the flow of this? And what I love about the serpents is every one of them is different, right? They're so unique. Not one is exactly the same. And where I started playing with these colors and textures, every one of them is different, right? And for this specific image, the only tool I was using was the red serpent. Obviously, the universal connector, flashlight attached, but it was really just the one tool.
Awesome. It's beautiful, man. Like I said, I love abstract light painting. It's such a beautiful expressive technique, and I love seeing images like this. I have to ask, so I've noticed this in some of your other work. You really see it here, and it's really neat. So in between the light, there's the spacing. You can see it everywhere. Um, now, are you doing this when you're creating this in strobe mode? Or is this some kind of optical strobe effect, that's reverting back onto the camera somehow, causing that spacing?
Yeah. So when I'm creating these, there's a couple flashlights I'm trying, and what I'll do is I won't stick to one, like I'm experimenting, right? Do a couple shots with one light and another, but these are really just strobe modes of the different flashlights. The one that I love using, and it's actually the one that I'm using here, it's the and I'm being super careful with this because unfortunately this flashlight got discontinued. So it's the light painter, Rise Lightworks from Light Painting Paradise.
Gotcha.
What's really cool about this flashlight is there's different strobe modes where it's adjustable strobes, brightnesses, and frequencies. Um, some of them, and Will, you kind of hit on this before, where depending on that frequency, they're more spaced out, they're tighter.
Right. You got like dot, dot, dot,
Yeah.
pause, dot.
Yep.
No, yeah.
Yep. So it's really just strobe modes of different flashlights. One of the things that, again, I'm learning as we're looking at different types of flashlights, right? You have that, um, there's a continuous frequency, and then you have a lot more of the flashlights that are um, more random, right? So it's not a consistent. So where you're getting that, like you see in this image, it's really just that strand of the spacing versus some of these other lights that I'm using, where it'll like dot 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 pause dot 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 or go a little bit faster, a little slower. So it's a little bit more inconsistent. But yeah, it's experimenting with different strobe modes in the flashlights.
It's really cool. And another thing that's so cool to me is just I can't help when I look at light paintings. There's always a particular space in an image where I'm just like drawn into it. This flow right here is so beautiful to me. It just absolutely love this. The way it curves right there with that light. So um, it's beautiful, man. Let's go to the next image here. Um, Tell us a little bit about this. Same tools, but beyond that, can you tell us a little bit about the camera you're using,
Sure.
the lens, and maybe if you remember what the settings were?
Yeah, absolutely. So primary, I'm using a Canon 70D. So that's what I was using here. Typically, if I'm outdoors, I love shooting wide, the wide angle lens. This one I'm actually using just the standard. It's an 18 to 135 kit lens. Um, this one, similar to the other two, is again the Red Serpent. Was using the light painter flashlight and just again experimenting with the different frequencies. Um, what you're seeing here and the other one too, again, just going back to the serpent blade and uh, how different they are. What I started experimenting was how and where the placement of the pieces are. So all these colors and textures too. Again, it might look like there's more than one tool. It's really just that one plexi is what I'm doing. And I could show you this too. I'm taking the gel part of the serpent and almost right up against the lens. And what happens is if I'm focusing out, you're getting that almost a bokeh effect, right? And
Right.
it's kind of blurry and thrown out. So just kind of playing with that is where you start throwing things out, getting different textures, different patterns, different colors, different effects. And it's just every time you do it, it changes. It's totally different every time.
Now you said so in front of your lens. So you kind of walk through the process there, but like how far out in front of the lens would you be? So you're initially touching the lens itself and then pulling away from it, like out maybe 2, 3 feet.
Actually, if I can, if I don't drop it, and you're fully going into process. Hang on 2 seconds. I don't think you're going to see on with the background. Bear with me 2 seconds. Let me turn this off. Okay, so
Here,
essentially,
let me go full screen real
okay,
quick.
yeah.
All right.
So, and I should have probably brought my tripod with me, but um, essentially, I got the serpent, and a lot of times, what I'll do is I'll literally right on top of the lens, right on top of it, and then when tunnels, I'm trying to pull that
Right.
straight and curve. What I'm doing a lot of times now is I'm getting and just kind of twisting and turning and getting different shapes, starting right on front of the lens, and as I'm pulling out, I'll start to right?
Okay.
Turn the blade this way to get different shapes, or I'll kind of pause it here, let it burn in a little bit, and then come back around. Um, so it just gives us a really nice effect because you're right on top of it, getting out of focus a little bit, and then you're pulling out. And what I'll do is because I've focused a little further out, I got a backdrop. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll actually walk back out and start again, just kind of a blade effect with it.
Really cool, man. Let's go back to the screen there. So we've got another image that you shared. So this one, man, I love this. I'm a sucker for orange, man. I'm not so much reds. Reds, I have a hard time with, but you do reds very well. I just want to throw that out there. You create with red very, very well. Um, but orange, I love, love, love orange. Tell us a little bit about this one here. Did maybe in a sense of because to me it looks like there's a lot of emotion here. Can you hit on that sentiment?
Sure, sure. So again, same kind of process. And, you speak of emotion too, and again, this kind of goes to some of the conversation we had, before with Will talking and just how things are going and with abstracts, but it's just letting go, right? And not trying to think too much about it and just going to create. Um, and just experimenting with it. So even with this, same one tool, seeing all the different textures and how things are playing out. Um, this particular one, and it's killing me right now. The little shape that you see towards the top corner and that little flare that you see.
Right here.
I'm gonna sum this up as a happy accident because I've been trying to recreate this, and for
Right.
the life of me, I can't figure out how I did it.
Yeah, it's really neat. It's like kind of
Yeah,
like an aurora kind of effect.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
just
yeah.
yeah, awesome.
And this is what I like about like this kind of technique is, there's so many different things that can happen. And you keep going and like you'll see something like this and it's like, wow, and how did and for the life of me, I can't think of how I did it. And I've been trying to recreate it, but it's this cool process that you're going through with it.
Maybe that's why I like abstract light painting so much because there's really, and I mean this in the nicest way, but there's really not a lot of thought behind it because it's more of an emotional response to holding a tool, like Will was saying, and the way that you're moving that through the air. That's really all you got to worry about because if you're stiff, it's going to look a certain way. If you're loose and relaxed and you just flow with that tool, this is a result. So
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the things I was thinking too, like, again, I try to, dabble in different types of light painting and even with the rotation stuff, and I think this is the designer in me, right? It's
Right.
I spend so much time trying to let me get the angle right. Let me get the, things to line up where I'm kind of losing it. But what I think I love about the abstract is again, it's you're just letting it flow and you're not really caring too much about it. It,
Absolutely.
you know,
Do you have any suggestions or important, pointers for others that would like to try to create abstract light painting?
absolutely. Experimentation. Don't be afraid to just try things. I'm really big about learning from mistakes and just, nobody's perfect. You're just out there, you're having fun with it. If you're not having fun, why are we doing this, you know?
Right.
Um, excuse me. Trying to avoid perfection. This is like I was just hitting with the rotation stuff. Like I find myself just lost in it sometimes where I'm trying so hard and next thing I know, I got a dead battery, because I spent so much time trying to get it so perfect. And that's the designer in me, like you got to get it pixel perfect. But I think what I love about the abstracts is again, it's you're just getting lost in yourself and letting it flow. Like you just have fun with it. Don't be afraid
Absolutely.
to ask questions. There's so many people in the community that are there to help, give you pointers, give you tips. Um,
And
I
that's
mean,
what's great about our community is we talk
that's
and we share when we do these things. So
absolutely
yeah, it's
that's the
great.
best part of this community. I mean, we're here to help each other. I mean, it's incredible. Um, and I mean, one thing I always think about too is again what I do during the day with marketing, right, and thinking about social media and hits and likes and how it's performing, et cetera. Like, don't what I find myself doing too, and I feel like with others is don't get so hung up on how many likes and this and that and shares. It's you're doing art for yourself. It's something you like to do and you're expressing yourself and you do it because you like to do it. If so and so doesn't like it, that's okay. I'm doing it because I like it. It's that kind of feeling too. But
It,
the biggest thing I think is just experimentation and have fun with it.
absolutely. I mean, and again, no one has to like it because you are indeed doing it for yourself. So um let me ask you this. So what would you say inspires you or motivates you through sharing your creative vision?
Sure. We touched on this before. Again, this community, all of you, everyone in this community is inspiring. I learned so much from all of you, and I think we can all learn from each other. I think one of the things that really hits me too that inspires. I mean, besides the technical of like again how I get lost in my process of, especially with the abstracts, right? I get the music on, I get lost in the music, and I just go. One of the other things that I think I love that inspires me and pushes me is just sharing the love and the awareness of this art form that we have. Um, I had a couple experiences. I think I might have mentioned this, but last year we were on vacation. We were in Myrtle Beach, and I brought all my gear, and I was like, I got to go down by the beach. I mean, this is such a great experience. You're down by the water. You're hearing the sounds of the waves, and I was just having one of those tough nights, and I was like, I don't even want to go. I really want to do, and I was kind of pushing myself and I was like, got down there. I forgot half my gear. I was kind of in one of those moods, right? And I was just like, I don't even know if I want to do this anymore. But we were down on the spot. There was a ton of people there. And I'm like, even that, like, there's no way I'm going to get something done. And, you know, I, I just went out and I started. And there was this family that walked by and they came up and I'm so sorry to interrupt. And they started talking to me and just asking a million and one questions and what is this and how are you doing? And I think just sharing that knowledge and that love for it, like that was kind of hitting home. And I'll never forget this. Their little daughter was sitting there and like just eyes lit up and looking at, like I had the holographic tube with me.
Right.
And 'cause like I said, I forgot half my gear. I brought that, but um, she's looking at me and I looked at her parents. I'm like, do you want to try? Is it okay? Yeah, absolutely. And I gave her the holographic tube. I set up the camera for her and I just go have fun. And she's waving this thing around, like big Kool-Aid smile. And She came back, showed her the back of the camera, and like I said, eyes lit up, Kool-Aid smile, and that hit, and it was like that kind of thing, just expressing that and sharing it. Um, I mean, that's really cool. Just again, spreading the love about this.
Absolutely. And you
Yeah,
know how cool is it that we have a community where it's okay to imitate others.
absolutely.
The fact, and you've imitated some of the things that I've created, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. When I
No,
put something out there or I create something and I see somebody else do that, it's awesome. It's an awesome feeling. So thank you for that. But that's great, man. What's the best way to follow along with you and your work? If you want to put anything in there in the chat, yeah, Instagram, Facebook. What's the best way to follow along?
I would say most up to date, most is my Instagram. I'll put that in the chat. Instagram and Facebook are the most up to date. I do have a site. It's dire need of some help. It's definitely outdated, my website, but definitely follow along on Instagram and my Facebook page. That's the most activity there. I've got the Vero account. I'm on Threads, but that's definitely the biggest areas.
Awesome. Well, Robert, thank you so much, man. Really appreciate you being here and keep up the great work and keep doing what you're doing and sharing with us. So we appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. This has been great. So thank you for everything you guys do for me and everyone in this community.
Absolutely. Thank you. Um,
Hey, Jay.
yeah,
Sorry.
Jason's here.
Yeah, I've been here. Sorry I missed first 10 minutes. Sorry, Will, I missed your first 10 minutes, but the rest of it I caught and it was amazing. Rob, can you hold up that serpent? That's got to be the cleanest used serpent I think I've ever seen in my life.
See,
I
was thinking the same thing. How in the world?
Seriously,
Somebody else's
destroyed.
serpent didn't look so pretty.
Let me turn this off so you can guys see it.
What are you keeping that thing in? Look at that.
Honestly, the bubble wrap still. I literally have.
There you go. That's museum quality right there.
I
Right?
look. It's just again these. I think I said it last time. Like each one of these tools. I mean, it's like it's its own piece of art, and I mean these things are great. The green one right next to me. It's they're beautiful. So yeah, I definitely try to keep them as clean as I can. There's others, like I've had some other plexis too. Like I'll have a duplicate, so I'll sand it down a little bit to get that almost like that milky kind of feeling to it. But the serpents definitely, I'm trying to keep them kind of pristine.
You're doing a fine job. That thing is
Thank you.
beautiful.
Absolutely. With that, I'm going to share my screen again here. Give me 1 second. Everybody good? So I just want to do some shout outs. There's been a lot of great work, especially this whole year. Been absolutely amazing seeing the things that people share and how engaged they are in the community. So really appreciate everyone. But yeah, so let me move this over. Mike Hollon, so cool. Just love this fiber texture, and especially on the glass ball right there. We had him on the show earlier this year with I believe it's spirographs, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure it was, but really neat technique. Just love this image and just wanted to shout you out. Robert D'Angelo, thank you so much. That's what I'm talking about. This excites me, you know what I mean? Because I love incorporating landscapes into my light painting, and doing that all within the camera is really something that I appreciate and I love doing. And to see somebody else do that just means a lot. And you executed it awesome, man. It's just a beautiful, beautiful image. So thank you, man. Just wanted to shout you out there. Christine Marie, this is awesome. We did an episode with Katrina on the show, and she had the whole space. We did a lot of talk about some of the space images she creates in the workshops and out in California there. So shortly after that, I saw this image. So I know Christina will appreciate that, and really cool image. Love the star trails and the portal here. Hashimoto. I'm still, one of these days I'm gonna get him on the show. I just want to hear his name. I want to hear him say his name. But just the rotations that he's been doing, and to see it grow and become what it is so cool. It's awesome to see somebody take a particular thing that they like to do and just repetitively do it over and over and over and watch it develop. Is always fascinating. Radic, just really cool image. Just love the orange there. Just wanted to shout you out and appreciate you sharing. Peter Wood, this guy, he just shares, man. There's just all kinds of light painting stuff. And again, he's another one who's just repetitive and keeps growing and growing, and his images keep getting better. And I love this technique here, and just an interesting pattern, and it's very unique. So keep up the great work. Dimitri, it was really cool, to see Jason Shattered Worlds, see somebody else do it, and their take on that particular technique is really cool. I know he's used this area before for some other work, so it was nice to see the Jason Page's Shattered World effect here in this image. Oops, sorry guys. Kashimoto again. Again, I just wanted to hit on something. Him, Terrence, Martin, and Ian, you guys are always, even Duncan, you guys are always sharing different things of using the tools in different unique ways that people might not have thought of. And with Kashimoto, his tripod thing that he made with the tools for doing rotations is just super cool. If you guys scroll down through the tips and tricks, you'll see a video that he did, going into depth more about how he created that PVC piping to fit the light painting brushes tools. So it's really cool stuff. Carlos, I just love the he calls it Aurora, and I'm all about the Aurora. So it was nice to see this this light painting and come across that. So just wanted to shout you out. And Ian, man, this is super cool. Just love the pattern and the softness of the tool, and the colors there and the pattern. So wanted to shout you out. And man, I don't know if I'd break my back trying to do something like that, but yeah, that's pretty wild. Maybe Johnny can do that on a pole, right?
Yeah.
Roy, man, just a nice little space with a graffiti on the wall there. Just love the effect, the strobe mode. So just wanted to shout you out and thank you for sharing. Ryan, again, glass balls with just some blade work back behind there. Just love the colors. I love complementary colors. I call it the Aurora, just those effects right there. Just nice. Love that color palette. And Chris, yeah, really cool. Again, Jason Page, he did the palm trees down in the Grand Canyon and stuff like that. So it's nice to see that somebody else's interpretation of somebody else's work that they've done. So really, really cool. Dave, just a nice portrait here. Love the effect right there with the arms and the fiber work. So wanted to shout you out and appreciate you sharing with us. Kelly, again, I don't know what is glass balls, but everybody seems to be doing a lot of light painting with them, and it's a cool effect, and I'm drawn to it. I love the way it looks in the glass ball there with pretty much any tool that you use. So it's really neat to see that. Rafi, a light man, just really cool on the banks there, with the nice snow on the ground. So wanted to shout you out and appreciate you.
He gets bonus points for that one. That location, that's
Right.
over that with the cold ones. No thanks.
Not only that, I mean, it looks like he's like standing down, like this is just logs down in the water, like, and just take a step down there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so he's probably bouncing there and trying to do that. So Really good stuff. And I think that's it. Let me stop sharing there. So again, want to thank Will Cook, man. Thank you so much for being here in the conversation and sharing with us the knowledge that you have and being open to this interview to sit down with and share with everybody. So thank you so much for being here. Robert D'Angelo, man, keep up the great work. Really appreciate you and you being here and everybody else. And Duncan, I want to shout you out, man. This guy has not missed an LPV live. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's 3 a.m. in Scotland. This guy is going to be on here. So it's noticed and really appreciate you, man. And thank you for always showing up and being here, man.
Well, you're the doctor of time.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely, man. And I really appreciate that. Yes. For those that don't know, Duncan, he sent me a shirt with that, so I should have brought it down here to show you. But thank you, man. That really meant a lot, and I appreciate you sending me that, man.
I don't know where you get the time, mate.
Hey, just got to keep active, keep busy, man. But again, thank you to everybody that makes the LPV the community that it is, and appreciate you all. And we'll be back again, hopefully here in January and with a new year. So thank you all.